What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian from House of Rasslin, and this is my review for the August 31st episode of AEW Dynamite. It's pretty much the go-home show for AEW's All Out event this Sunday. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so that way you are notified when House of Rasslin drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. This was probably the best Dynamite of the entire year so far. That's all I gotta say. Like, this had the intensity, this had the physicality, this had the showmanship. There was a lot of intriguing things happening on the show that left me just like, what's gonna happen next? Where is this gonna go? Why? Like, what are they do? Like, so many good things, man. It's hard to start off with what was the most exciting thing of tonight's AEW Dynamite. Was it the Jon Moxley promo that started off the show? Was it the CM Punk promo, which involved Ace Steel, his trainer? Was it the main event between Will Ospreay and the Aussie Open versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Was it the four-way match between Warrior Yuta, Dante Martin, Roosh, and Rey Fenix? Don't know where to start, man, because this was a very, very good Dynamite, man. And I'm so happy that AEW put a show like this together, because for the last month, 2 months, you could go as far back as before the lead up to Double or Nothing. Just felt things were just off, not clicking. Just there wasn't a lot of fluidity throughout the whole show. A few things had fluidity, but it was just like something's it's not clicking. But man, tonight this was a home run out the park for them, man. This was a very good show. So before I get into the whole show and what I thought and what I feel might happen, and I will give you a few predictions in this review, I am going to break down the results of tonight's AEW Dynamite in Chicago let me rephrase that, in Hoffman Estates, in the Chicagoland area. It's not Chicago, it's the Chicagoland area, and it's in Hoffman Estates, which is like a 40-minute drive from Hoffman Estates to, you could say, Allstate Arena, almost a little bit further. It's almost like a 40-minute drive, but so we had the opening match. You had Daniel Bryan. Man, I always do this, man. Forgive me, guys. So we had Bryan Danielson defeat Jake Hager. You had Hikaru Shida and Tony Storm defeat Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. We had FTR and Wardlow defeat Silas Young. I couldn't get the two other wrestlers that were with Silas Young. They just announced it real quick, and I'll get into that. That was just a squash match. Then we had Warrior Yuta defeat Rey Fenix, Roosh, and Dante Martin. And in the main event, to advance to the finals of the Trios tournament, we had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks defeat Will Ospreay and the Aussie Open. So that was your results for AEW Dynamite, man. And man, this was a solid show. Starting off, again, you had Moxley come out, hot crowd. There was boos and there was chants. You could tell that there is this feel. And of course, AEW fans they're not the most, I'm not going to say they're the most knowledgeable fans of all wrestling fans in every promotion, but they're very knowledgeable of what's happening with the product, the rumors and reports and stuff like that. You could tell that there is a feeling of, we want to boo Moxley because we got a feeling that Punk might swerve us, but we don't know, but it does feel like it might happen. So yeah, there was a bunch of boos. Um, he talked about champions never fold. There was a big CM Punk chant. He looks in the camera. He's like, it just didn't work out. He says he has zero sympathy for Punk losing. Punk is fragile. His body's fragile. His ego's fragile. Everything else about him is weak. Um, and then he goes into something that's very intriguing. Um, at the moment, I was hoping that they would extend it till the moment that the match started at All Out. So he issues an open contract to face him at All Out. He leaves it in the middle of the ring. He walks out. And then Ace Steel, yes, Ace Steel, who trained CM Punk, he walks out, and commentary makes reference of her like, hey, wait a minute, that's CM Punk's trainer. Like, wait a minute, he took the contract. Like, whoa, okay. I wish it would have been, they would have drawn it out till Sunday. Just have that intrigue where you have tonight, you still don't know who Moxley's going to face. You go to Friday, you still don't know who Moxley's going to face, but you know someone took the envelope. You get to Sunday, you go through all the matches, then you get to that match, and then boom, then you get who's revealed. That's how I would have liked it, but the way this played out, just as good. I enjoyed it, man. This was fun. Then we get a backstage segment with Chris Jericho. He's pretty much hyping up his match against Bryan Danielson. Daniel Garcia comes in and he's like, I apologize, I pledge my allegiance to Jazz. The way Daniel Garcia expressed this leads me to believe that he is going to turn on Chris Jericho at All Out and join the Blackpool Combat Club, which makes sense because they announced that Wheeler Yuta is going to defend the ROH Pure title against Daniel Garcia on Dynamite next Wednesday. So is that Daniel Garcia's test as far as joining the Blackpool Combat Club? We'll see. Then we get Bryan Danielson versus Jake Hager. And I got to say, this match, I was surprised by this match because it exceeded my expectations. And this was the first match in AEW where Jake Hager's MMA pedigree, because he does fight MMA outside of AEW, where someone actually brought it out of him and it was incorporated in a match in a very slick, fluid way into the match. And I'm just like, man, Bryan Danielson's making Jake Hager look really good. Like these counters, like there was a sequence of counters between Danielson and Hager that was just like, okay, Jake Hager's been in AEW since 2019. And it's like, we haven't seen this Jake Hager before. So this is like, okay, Bryan Danielson is that good. Like he's bringing out a very strategic Jake Hager, where it's just like, man, this, like you saw more of the MMA Jake Hager that hopefully, as long as he's in AEW, it's showcased, because this was a really good match that really, maybe they weren't trying to do it, but it really elevated and showcased Jake Hager's ability to really incorporate his MMA style, which I enjoyed. Danielson wins with a running knee to the head. 1, 2, 3. He pins him. Post-match, you got Angelo Parker, Matt Menard. They attack Danielson. You got Claudio and Yuta. They beat him up there, beat him outside. Jericho runs in with the chair. So he runs in. He's about to hit Danielson. Daniel Garcia runs down. He takes the chair. He's like, no, no, no. Then Danielson does a running knee, hits Jericho, walks out the ring, and he looks at Daniel Garcia, and they walk off. So, again, I still believe that Daniel Garcia is going to cost Chris Jericho the match, which is going to lead to a Jericho-Daniel Garcia feud. Don't know what's going to happen with Bryan Danielson and where that goes, but I like this. This was really good, and this is really elevating and putting Daniel Garcia at a higher position than what he was before this. So I really like that. Really cool. I'm looking forward to that match at All Out between Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho. So then we get a promo. They go to commercial. We come back and we get the Wingmen. You got JD Drake, Peter Avalon. Man, what's his name? Bonozzi. Oh God, I forgot his name. Forgive me, guys. So they're there. They're protesting. They don't get a shine, and did not expect to see this guy show up. W. Morrissey. So there hasn't been, at the time of this recording, I don't know if there has been a All Elite graphic or what have you. So he comes out, he pretty much beats the hell out of all of them. Choke slams them and everything. He looks really good, in phenomenal shape. And then we get Stokely Hathaway come down at ringside. He waits till Morrissey beats up everybody, hands him a card. He's walking out. Tony Schiavone stops him, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on here? What's the deal with the cards?" And Stokely snaps on him. It's like, it's none of your business. It's none of your. And Tony Schiavone's like, hey, what the hell's your problem? And this, and there's a loud Tony chants throughout the arena. And really interesting thing, like they mention it, or let me phrase that. They acknowledge that Stokely has been giving his card, but they really haven't gone into depth, like, okay, what's really going on here? So it's almost like, okay, he's giving his card. Really intrigued to know what the hell is Stokely Hathaway building or assembling in AEW. What faction? He's given a card to Ethan Page, Morrissey. He's given it to Lee Moriarty. I know I'm forgetting someone else that he's given this card to. Austin and Colton Gunn. So what is he building or assembling that we're not paying attention to, and what's gonna, like, it's very interesting what he's assembling. He's a very entertaining personality on AEW television, but it's very interesting what is going to transpire in the next few months before the year's out, and what Stokely Hathaway has up his sleeve and what we'll see on AEW television. Then we get a backstage segment with Alex Marvez, Will Ospreay. Don Callis comes in. He's like, "You're not Kenny Omega, you're your own man." Basically putting him over. And the way this came across, again, I think we might be entering a season of like people turning on each other in AEW, which it freshens things up. Some people like, "Oh, maybe it's needed in AEW." They do need to freshen up certain things. But yeah, it came across like, is Don Callis going to turn on Kenny Omega? It's very interesting. We'll see what happens. I do think that this is leading to a match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, possibly at Wrestle Kingdom. That's where I think they're going to have a match, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom in 2023. I think that's where it's headed, where we're going to have that in. Again, when you have Kenny Omega in New Japan, you're always going to have that element of Jay White and the Bullet Club. So there's always something with Bullet Club entwined or just lingering around because there's still unsolved issues there. I don't know. We'll see. Then we get the women's match, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida. This was a fantastic women's match. I'm glad it was the second match of the night. The crowd was into it. Hikaru Shida, she brought some energy that is desperately needed on AEW Dynamite. I don't care if it's the women's division, a men's match. Like, she brought an energy, and the moves that she was executing and the quickness and the intensity and just the physicality, it's like, ooh, okay, this is like she went out there and it came across like she meant business. And it's not to say that Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, Toni Storm didn't bring it. Like, no, they brought it as well. And this was a fantastic women's match. It just plants the seeds for Sunday's match for the AEW Women's Interim Championship. I'm looking forward to that match. This match, I didn't think about it, but it does remind me of the All-In women's match that was it Chelsea Green? I know Tessa Blanchard was there. I can't remember the other. I believe Britt Baker was the other one. I can't remember the fourth, but that match had that was a solid women's match, and it does feel like this match is somewhat of a callback to that match. I don't know. We're gonna get some interesting things for this All Out pay-per-view this Sunday, but yeah, this was great. There was a spot where Jamie Hayter did a double suplex on Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. She's done it before, but man, that's an impressive move. But in the end, Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida, they win. Like I said, this is going to be an interesting match on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Who will win? We could have Britt Baker win. I could see that happening. I don't know if I see Toni Storm winning. It would be good if Toni Storm won, but I don't feel that they're going to go in that direction yet. I do think they're going to go in the direction of have Britt Baker win and build up to the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker title for title match, probably depending on how long Thunder Rosa's out, possibly at Full Gear or possibly at New Year's Slam. Start the year off. That could be something. I don't know if they have a Battle of the Belts. Maybe they went. Did they go through all 3 or 4? Or they probably got one more Battle of the Belts. So maybe, possibly, depending if Thunder Rosa come back, they'll go there. Then we get a Kip Sabian program. I'm intrigued by this whole thing with the box and everything. He's a terrific wrestler. Of course, he's been out for over a year because of an injury. So I'm really interested to see how they incorporate him into AEW, considering that the last time he wrestled, AEW didn't have possibly a third of the wrestlers that they have now. But man, he's a fantastic wrestler. I'm looking forward to seeing how they incorporate him and just the matches he has with a few wrestlers, and especially Pac, because that's the feud with the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. So I'm looking forward to that. Then we get a Miro promo, and man, this guy tells 10 stories about destroying someone, and it makes so much sense. It's fantastic. It's intriguing. This one's wonderful promo. You had Darby come in, and then you had Sting come in. So it was announced we're going to get Miro, Sting, and Darby versus the House of Black at All Out. All for it. It's going to be fun. Chicago loves Sting. Chicago loves Darby. Chicago loves House of Black. So, I mean, the fans are going to go ape shit over this, man. This is going to be a fun match. But, man, that promo, check it out. Man, these promos that Miro gives, man, it's so creative. It's captivating. You can tell that there is somewhat of a Jake the Snake Roberts influence on it. In that, when Miro gives these promos, you lean forward, you raise up the volume, and you just listen. It isn't like, oh, okay, this guy screaming shot. It's like, no, you have to listen and just theater of the mind. You just have to visualize what he's saying. It's just like, ooh, this is good. Very poetic, man. Very good promo. Then we get to CM Punk coming out, which was not announced or anything. So he comes out. There's large CM Punk chants. He disses a fat guy in the front row, which was hilarious. He talks about how it's not the first time that he's been beat up and defeated in Cleveland. There's boos. He says, I feel like I let you down. He acknowledges his sister at ringside. And then Ace Steel, who earlier in the night took the contract, comes out. This dude gave one of the most random and most fiery, energetic, enthusiastic promos in a while in AEW. And you didn't expect this, but man, this was a fantastic promo that, I don't know, it changed the whole atmosphere of Dynamite, this feud between Punk and Moxley. It was fantastic, man. This guy, he, like, it was like he woke up the, like, it's hard for me, like, he woke up CM Punk. Whatever this cloud that was over him since he returned, like, this was a fire promo. Punk takes the contract. He's like, I'm back, and watch the promo, man. Just watch it, and you're gonna watch it again and again and again. He goes through the crowd. The crowd is, mind you, this is Hoffman Estate, Chicago. Like, this crowd is just going crazy. Like, this crowd was CM Punk chants. He's walking. He gives Moxley a message like, I'll see you Sunday. It's on. This was the best segment of the night. The MVP of this segment where CM Punk gave his promo was Ace Steel, because you did not expect that. You seen him early in their night, but you did not expect Ace Steel to give the promo that he gave, say what he said with the enthusiasm, the intensity, and the sense of urgency that came out in his voice and way he was saying it and how he was speaking to CM Punk. It was so good. Like, for me, I was like, man, okay, I can't wait for this match, man. Let's go. Let's get this, man. This is gonna be a good match, man. Come on, man. Let's go. So yeah, that was a great segment, man. You have to watch that. Like, man, that got me pumped. Then we get a interview between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy with Jim Ross. It's a sit-down interview, and Christian mentions that Jungle Boy is going to be a has-been. I'm here to make money. Jungle Boy tells Christian, my dad taught me how to be a man, and I'm going to teach you how to. I'm going to teach you that, and you will fight Jack Perry. So when he said that, I'm like, is this the seeds that are being planted for the transition of Jungle Boy to Jack Perry, which is really needed, because let's face it, you can't be, oh, I'm the Jungle Boy. Oh, I'm the Jungle Boy. Like, no, you're either Jungle Man or Jack Perry. And Jim Ross has mentioned it a few times on commentary, so it could be going into Jack Perry. I'm looking forward to this match because, man, Christian can be one of those guys that, like, you just like, dude, somebody just beat the hell out of his. He's a smart ass. Like, beat him up, man. And that should be a pretty fun match when it happens. Then we get FTR Wardlow. This was basically a squash match. It was Silas Young. Like I said, there was two individuals. They mentioned their name quickly, and the match was over. That was it. And you had Sanjay Dutt taking notes. Wardlow, FTR. They're just dominant. I do feel that if it is a route they're going where they want to turn CM Punk heel, I do feel that we might get FTR and Wardlow assist CM Punk in defeating Jon Moxley, which would set up possibly Punk leading the Pinnacle, and then also setting up a feud between the Pinnacle and the Blackpool Combat Club. Could be very interesting. We could have Claudio versus Wardlow. We could have FTR versus Yuta and Daniel Garcia. We could have Punk and Moxley, or we could have Punk and Bryan Danielson. A lot of possibilities there. That could happen. That's one of my predictions that I think could happen at All Out. But yeah, this was a Scotch match. Then Moxley comes out. He, again, this is not prepared. And shout out to AEW. I do think one of the things that they should do for AEW Dynamite and possibly Rampage, they really need to step up the spontaneity and scale down the announcements of all the matches. Just give a few 3 matches here, and then everything else let it be. Give you room to maneuver and have spontaneity throughout the show, where it's just like it doesn't feel predictable. Like, no, this is good. So he basically says this Sunday, it's on. I'm gonna put on display, and he just throws the mics, walks out. So it's official. We're getting Punk and Moxley this Sunday, all out. Looking forward to that match. Like I said, I think FTR and Wardlow will help CM Punk defeat Jon Moxley. Then we get a backstage segment with Dark Order. 10, he can't compete. Evil Uno says, I'm going to take his place. Then Andrade comes randomly, like, I don't know what it's setting up to, or I don't know, just very random. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's just something I just didn't expect. He says, I'll give you a contract to work for me. And it's funny because Andrade is always doing that. He's like, hey, I'll give you, why don't you work for me? He did that with Darby. Pretty funny. Then he takes Evil Uno's crutch and he just whacks the hell out of Evil Uno. And Jose, the assistant, has like a stun gun, and Evil Uno or 10 is just like standing there and everything. Very interesting why that happened. Granted, it was a way to kind of bring in Hangman Page, which they did later on. I don't know, using Andrade to get there, that's kind of, I don't know, just weird. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Then we get Dante Martin versus Rush, Rey Fenix, and Wheeler Yuta. Man, the fans in attendance. You got that match. Then you had, after that, you had Ospreay, Aussie Open versus Young Bucks and Omega. Back-to-back banger matches, man. This Dante Martin, Rush, Rey Fenix, Yuta match was insane. It was fast-paced. There was a sweet tornado springboard that Dante Martin did. There was a freaking headbutt that Rush did while Dante was diving. He, in midair, just got him. It was like, damn. There was a face-off or a sequence where you had Yuta and Rush fighting against each other, and then you had Yuta and Dante Martin, which was, I labeled it beautiful mayhem, because this match was chaotic, it was crazy, it was fast-paced, but it was beautiful because, man, it was a fun match. But in the end, Yuta, he had the crab pin where he has the leg and everything. He got it on, I believe it was Rush or something like. Was it Rush? I believe it. So he got that. Yuta wins. Looking forward to that ladder match. You got Claudio. You got Yuta. You have Andrade, Rush. You have, I'm trying to think of the other participants, but you do have a Joker in the casino ladder. And a lot of speculation saying that it could be MJF. There's just going to be some wild things at AEW All Out. Will MJF appear? I don't know. We'll see. So then we get the backstage segment with John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and they're with Tony Schiavone, and they're like, well, Evil Uno's out. We need a third man. Hangman Page comes in. He's like, hey, if you need someone, I'm here. Basically, they announced this Friday on Rampage, you're going to have the other final match between Dark Order and Hangman Page versus the Best Friends. Winner faces the winner of the Ospreay Aussie Open Young Bucks Kenny Omega match. And you kind of seen it. It's kind of full circle between Omega and Hangman and that whole thing. The brackets for the trios side was kind of interesting. Kind of wish that the Ospreay Aussie Open match that we saw tonight was the main event, like the finals, because that was amazing. Amazing match. So It's interesting to see what Hangman and Alex Reynolds, John Silver are going to do on this Friday on Rampage. Going to be pretty interesting. Then in the main event, Ospreay and the Aussie Open versus Omega and the Young Bucks. I will say this is probably going to be one of the... So you got the Cody and Seth Rollins match. You got FTR and Briscoes 1 and 2. I'm trying to think of another match that... Oh, man. You could say Bianca and Becky Lynch is up there as like as far as top matches throughout the year. This match so far is probably one of the top matches of the year. This was a fantastic match. Omega and Ospreay started off. Of course, they have been going back and forth on Twitter and interviews, merch sales. It was pretty funny because Justin Roberts was like introducing Kenny Omega, and it was just nothing but disses about Ospreay losing at Wrestle King. Like, there were so many things mentioned. Just check it out. It was freaking hilarious. Like, his merch sales and everything, because that was a big thing that he tweeted. 5-star match, and Kevin Nash chimed in, how's your merch sales? That whole thing was freaking hilarious. But man, this was, there was a spot where Mark Davis body slammed both Young Bucks at the same time. The diving moves, there was a spot where Kenny Omega did the Dragon Suplex on Ospreay on the outside. It's hard for me to describe the moves that were executed here, because this was a work of art. This was fun. It was entertaining. The crowd was into it. I know some people may not like it because it's too much gymnastics. They were doing that stuff in the freaking 50s and 60s. There's video that people have been posting on social media throughout this year. So it's nothing new. But this was a work of art. This was fun. This was an entertaining match. Will Ospreay, I've had a chance to see him live and in person at Windy City Riots and at Forbidden Door, and that dude is a national treasure to see in professional wrestling. He is a treasure to see. It is a work of art to see this guy. The crowd, like I said, the crowd was lit. Kenny Omega, he looked good. It was an interesting thing that someone on Twitter mentioned it, that Kenny Omega he wasn't tanned. So, like, when his shirt was ripped off by Ospreay, you could see the suction cups as far as, therapy and tape and everything. It was like, oh man, he's really beat up. So, really playing that up, that Kenny Omega, is he 100% back? Is he, like, what's going on here? But in the end, Omega got the V trigger. 1, 2, 3. Young Bucks and Kenny Omega defeat Will Ospreay and the Aussie Open. Like, this was a fantastic main event. Overall, I'm looking forward to All Out this Sunday. This was a great way to get people invested. Like, you know what? I need to watch this pay-per-view. The Punk Moxley promos, freaking Ace Steel. Ace Steel is the MVP of this show, because that fiery promo he gave, and the enthusiasm, the intensity, the inflection, the passion that he gave, like, when you watch this show back, you'll notice at that moment, that's when the show just went, like, it just, like, the whole crowd just went to another level. The show went to another level. I'm looking forward to it. I do feel personally that we could see a surprise at All Out. And I don't think it's going to be MJF. I do think he may show up, but I don't think the surprise is MJF. I think there's something that they have up their sleeve that we'll see on All Out. I don't know what it is, but we'll see. But I do think that FTR and Wardlow will help CM Punk defeat Jon Moxley. We'll see what happened with Jade Cargill and Athena there. But, man, there's something I do sense that there's going to be a surprise, an arrival, a debut, something like that at All Out. But I'm hyped for this show. This was a fantastic Dynamite. Like I said, this was probably, if not the best AEW Dynamite this year so far. I don't think a Dynamite comes close to this. Even the one in Atlantic City where Keith Lee debuted, which that was a great AEW Dynamite. But this one was like, there was just that, ooh, okay, this is the intensity. Sometimes in a wrestling show, what makes a great wrestling show is the intensity, the sense of urgency, and the physicality, but just the stakes. Like, everything has a stake, and there's just, like, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's so intense and so intriguing. You're just like, all right, I can't wait for this. This is going to be good. So that is my review for the August 31st episode of AEW Dynamite, the Go Home Dynamite for this Sunday's AEW All Out pay-per-view. I will be giving a review for that. Also, Clash at the Castle this Saturday. Debating if I'm going to do a review as far as NXT's Worlds Collide, because that's right before All Out, and All Out is going to be a long pay-per-view, so we'll see. But thank you guys. Again, this is my review for the August 31st episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so that way you are notified when the House of Wrestling drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Folks, we're in for a great ride of pro wrestling this week. Enjoy it. I will. Whew, man, this is going to be fun. So with that,